So we're working through exercise 13a and we're going through question 8, simplify the following. 8a is 36n times 12 to the power of negative 2n. So at first, this kind of looks complicated. What exactly do we do? And we really need to reflect on the fact that according to our index law 1, we can't add together the indices even if there's a multiplication here. And the reason why we can't is because our bases are different. So we're going to have to address that. And how we're going to do it is we want our bases to be the same. So let's break up 36 and 12 in such a way that we get similar bases. Now, as you see, I've broken up the page into two sections because there's two ways you can go about this. So when I first saw it, I thought, well, 36, I know that 36, another way to write that is 6 squared. So I'm going to put that in n on the outside. So that is now the same. Instead of writing 36, I just wrote 6 squared. And then on this side, I obviously want a 6 as well because I want my bases to be the same. So I wrote 12 as 2, I wrote 12 as 2 times 6, which is 12, and I put that on the outside there. Perfect. Now that I've done this, I can use my law, which allows me to multiply these. So 6 to n, and then my other law, which allows me to distribute these out. So what I'm going to end up with is 2 negative 2n times 6 negative 2n. Perfect. Now that we're here, we notice the fact that this and this have similar bases. They have similar bases. They have the same base of 6. So I know I can plus these together. So I can get 6 2n, and then I'm going to plus negative 2n. So that's just the same as minusing 2n. And then I'm going to times that by 2 negative 2n. So that right there is going to be 2n minus 2n is 6 to the 0 times 2 to the negative 2n. And we know anything raised to the 0 is simply going to be 1. So it's going to be 1 times 2 negative 2n, which means my final answer is going to be, drum roll, 2 negative 2n. And that's my final answer right there. So the aim of the game is making sure that you can get similar bases. Now, let's say you were unsure about what the similar bases were to be. Like I said 6 squared, but maybe you're thinking in your head, well, how was I meant to know is 6 squared? Well, it doesn't have to necessarily be 6 squared. You just need to make sure they're similar bases. And another thing you can do in this situation, so this is, I'm going to call this option 2. Let me write it here. Option 2 is prime decomposition. Decomposition. So you've done this previously, and I know you've done it previously because I'm teaching this to my year 7s at the moment. So the way in which you do this is you take 36. Whoops, if my pen wants to work with me. My pen just freaks out every once in a while. I'm going to take 36. Let me do it over here. I'm going to take 36 and I'm going to break it down into 6 and 6, and then 2 and 3, and 2 and 3. So therefore, my prime decomposition of that is going to be, and I'm going, well, let me just write it here. It'll be 2 squared times 3 squared. So right here, these are all my primes. That's a prime, that's a prime, that's a prime, that's a prime, and I just write it like that. Then we can do the same for 12. So I'll do my 12 over here. 12, 6 and 2, 2 and 3. I'm going to circle my primes. This is a prime, this is a prime, this is a prime. So it's going to be 2 to the 2, because I have two 2's. 2 to the 2 times 3. Perfect. Now that I have it in the prime, now that I've decomposited, now that I have the prime decomposition, what I'm now going to do is write this, because this right here equals 36, and this right here equals 12. So instead of writing it like this, I can write it as 2 squared, 3 squared over n times 2 squared times 3 negative 2n. Then I can write it as 2 2n times 3 2n times 2 negative 4n times 3 negative 2n. Then from here, I can say, all right, I have common, common bases here, 2 and 2. So that means I can rewrite this as 2 2n minus 4n And then here and here I have similar bases. So let me actually highlight these similar bases so you can see this and this have similar bases. And this have similar bases. So I'm adding their indices together. So times 3, 2n minus 2n. Well, 2 to raise to the 2n minus 4n, that's going to be 2 negative 2n. And over here, 2n minus 2n is 3 to the 0. So that's going to be 2 negative 2n times 1, which is going to end up being 2 negative 2n. Now, take your pick as to which one you'd like better. Both of them got you to your same answers. And remember, I'm walking through this a bit slower than what you would normally do it in your textbook. So you shouldn't be thinking it's actually going to take you this long to do it. It will take you far shorter time because you're not explaining it. So don't get thrown off by the amount of time. All right, so there you go. There's your answer. The same one, 2 different ways. Hopefully that helped.